Hey there, Lens Legends, and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profits Show, where we focus on the business side of photography, the real business challenges that professionals face every single day. I'm your host, Jim Landers, your guide on the business side, and it's my mission to uplift portrait photographers to make a great income doing what they love. If you're new here, let me tell you what this is all about. This is where we cut through the noise and get straight to what actually helps you build a sustainable, profitable photography business. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers face so you can finally get what you deserve. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab. And I'm going to move that to the other side. There we go. Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. For Digital Pro Lab, Amanda and her amazing team are going to make you look like a hero. If you haven't printed yet, you are missing out. And if you haven't printed with Digital Pro Lab, just wait till you see the difference. Yeah, go to digitalprolab.com and check them out. You're not going to go back to whatever it was you were before. Digitalprolab.com. Amanda hires just the best people, and it shows. They make you look like a hero. And for Landers Photography School, that's me, that's my company. I teach both the photography side and the business side. For those who are in my local area, I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I know there's people watching from all over. But if you're in my area, I have in-person classes. If you're not in my area, I have Zoom classes. So I can work with you as long as you know English, because that is the only language that I know. But I teach both the photography side and the business side. The majority of the business classes are on Zoom anyway. And so it doesn't actually matter where you live. But I help photographers make a living in photography. Now, I do specialize in portraits and events, so I'm surface level on the things that are other than those, and are basic level on things that are other than those. But I help you get started. But check out what I'm doing at Landers Photography School. I'll give you a URL to go to. That puts, if you use this URL you're seeing right now, that puts you on my schedule. You get to see my schedule. You get to choose the time that works best for you, and we get to talk about your situation. Now, I want you to take a moment to go to the comments section, because I want you to make comments throughout the lesson. I want you to ask questions. And for right now, I want you to enter in hashtag live. That causes me to know that you're watching us live today on either Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube. We are simulcast to several different places. For those that are watching the replay, please comment hashtag replay. Again, for those who are watching right now, it's hashtag live. I also request that you share the Portrait Profit Show. Let other people know. On Facebook, there's a button that says share. You can let other people know real easily. But that's how the word gets spread. We're not charging anything for this, except that you let someone else know. Don't keep this to yourself. Let other people know that this show exists to uplift and help portrait photographers. Something shifted. Nothing exploded, nothing crashed, but you felt something. Some signals don't come with flashing lights, but a clench in your gut or a voice in your head that you're not sure about. Maybe even try to ignore. You opened a client email and sat with it longer than usual. You focused all your attention and just to craft the right words. Then you revised. Then you second guessed, only to hover over the send button and then adjust it once more. Maybe you've looked at your calendar and it wasn't purpose that you felt, it was pressure. Or maybe you visited your online portfolio. You see a beautiful grouping of portraits and feel detachment. But these are the images that used to make you proud. Now you're not even sure you want them displayed anymore. It isn't because you think they're bad, but because, well, you're not quite sure. Or how about this? You agreed again to just squeeze someone in this past weekend, even though you planned it as some much needed time off. You told yourself the extra income would be worth it, but you were a touch short tempered, slightly disconnected, and now, for your heroic efforts, you're behind on your editing. You love your clients, but right now, you kind of resent that it's always you who bends. And then, as if the universe wants to drive the point home, your spouse gives you that look. You know the one. None of these examples means burnout. I mean, they may lean in that direction, but these aren't emergencies. They weren't obvious problems. Well, not before you felt them. These are just examples of a momentary interruption, sometimes personal, sharp, specific. They are a quiet internal moment that unsettles your rhythm, often so slightly that it's just enough to be noticed. But you're feeling them for a reason. And sometimes it's because something's now ready for your attention. These are signals that something in your life, your business, your creative voice, your boundaries could use some attention. In this lesson, we're talking about how to recognize those signals, interpret what they're really saying, and respond in a way that keeps you aligned with your purpose. Because if you ignore them long enough, they won't stay small and they could start pulling you off track. You ready to hear this? If you're ready to hear this, do me a favor, go over to the comment section and enter in just the word ready. Ready. I'm ready. And if you haven't already, I want you to enter in hashtag live, letting me know you're watching the show live. Now, before I go on, you probably know, unless this is one of the first times you've watched the show, that I create a handout for every single show. So if you want that handout, just send me an email to jim@portraitprofits.com. By the way, last week and the week before, the email that I told you to send it to, which wasn't the one I just gave you, didn't go through. And so if you asked for one of those handouts, please resend it to jim@portraitprofits.com. Just specify which one you want or ones that you want. And I'll send it to you in your email as a PDF. Now, I do that manually, so it'll be after the show when I get to it, but be definitely a good review, and I definitely recommend it. And I only charge $10 for it. I'll send you an invoice. And if you like it, great, pay for it. If you don't like it, don't. I'm not going to bug you. Chapter 1. Oh, I probably should put that email on the screen. jim@portraitprofits.com. Chapter 1. What signals actually are. All right. You've already felt the signal. That moment where your body, your timing, your tone, or your reaction changed. Here's what that signal actually is: it's a disruption in your rhythm that invites your attention before it demands it. Not because it's broken. I mean, sometimes, but most of the time, it's just because something has shifted, and it might be slight. It may be internal. You may perceive it as hesitation, tightness, fatigue, frustration. It might be external, like a repeated request, a surprising response, um, a recurring obstacle. It might be relational, emotional, creative. It could be logistical. Sometimes it's subtle, oftentimes. And sometimes it's you recognizing that you've renamed a file final underscore V3 underscore this is the actual final. Oh, and then you're still not happy with it. That's your gut whispering something still unresolved. But whatever shape it takes, it's feedback. Receive it as feedback from your own system, from the way your life and business are currently working or not working. Don't expect signals to make a dramatic entry. That's only after you've ignored them or they're really big. Generally, they show up quietly and in patterns that pause before you open your inbox. The way you edit sessions that feels more like obligation than artistic expression. That feeling in your chest when someone says, "You are so accommodating," or "Your prices are so affordable." They're, those are early indicators. They're quiet messengers. They don't shout, but they will repeat if you don't listen to them. They circle you like a group of vultures, and while they may seem to go away, they return in slightly different forms until you give them the attention that they're asking for. Recognizing and taking action on a signal doesn't require perfection, it requires honesty in yourself. That's your signal, and you're supposed to do something about it. If you haven't already, make sure you enter in hashtag live in the comments and hit that like button, hit that love button each time you hear something that you like or that you love. You guys feeling this? If you are feeling this, give me a yes in the comments, letting me know that you are feeling this. And once again, I want to remind you that there is a handout, just like every single episode of the Portrait Prophet. So just send me an email to jim@portraitprofits.com and I'll send it to you as a PDF. Chapter 2. What signals are trying to tell you? Oh, they may be annoying, but signals don't show up to annoy you. They show up to make you feel uncertain or emotional or tired. They show up because something in your system is no longer working. Maybe it used to. Maybe it's brand new. Either way, now it wants your attention and, more importantly, your respect. Some signals are pointing to misalignment, others point to overcommitment. Some are asking for rest, others are calling for change, but all of them are saying the same thing. Don't skip this. Look here. Let's look at a few possibilities. If you feel resentment after saying yes to something, that signal may be asking you to examine your boundaries. If you feel numb while doing work that used to energize you, that signal could be telling you that your creative energy tank is nearing empty. That's what you want it to look like. If you feel anxious about opening your inbox or opening a specific email, it might be that you're already feeling both emotionally and physically at capacity. Noticing a signal is just the first step. Understanding it is what gives you the power to create a shift. Because once you know what that signal is trying to say, you're not stuck in reaction anymore. You're in a position to make good decisions. Maybe it's questions like, do I change something? Do I say something? Do I stop something? Do I recommit? Do I ask for help? Signals are a checkpoint, a moment of clarity. If you're willing to face what they're pointing to without rushing to fix it or to dismiss it. Slow down just enough to ask, What is this signal actually saying? Not just how it feels, but what is it revealing to you? You might start by thinking, I feel confused, unsure, scattered, but push past that feeling into what it's showing you. Then what then what felt like a problem or anxiety becomes what it actually is, a prompt. If this is resonating with you today, we comment yes. Just go to the comment section, just enter the word yes. And if you haven't already, enter in hashtag live, letting me know that you're watching live. If you're needing any help with any of these suggestions, you probably are aware, but just in case, I do private coaching sessions. And so maybe we can help you implement the right tools for your business or help you with specific instances. You can get started just by putting yourself on my calendar. There's the address, calendly.com/photo school/15 minutes. And again, if you want my handout for this or any past show, then let me know by sending me an email. All right, chapter 3. Now that you've noticed the signal and given it your attention, the question becomes, now what? Well, you need to respond. Responding to a signal doesn't mean anything drastic. It means you starting to make intentional adjustments. Sometimes that means pausing or evaluating before you say yes to make sure that it's actually a yes. Maybe it's shifting your availability because you're recalibrating what works best for you. Maybe it's you're asking for help before you start to drown. You've been there before and you don't want to experience that feeling again. Saying something out loud to yourself that you've only been that's really only been stewing in your mind just slightly. Maybe you're saying something like, I need a mentor, or I'm ready to change my pricing. Changing the pace, even slightly, to regain control of your calendar, your process, your energy. Your action just needs to be honest, aligned with your ideal life. And once you begin responding, that signal stops repeating because it's been heard. If you are receiving the same signals over and over, here's your sign. You've been ignoring the signals. But once you begin responding, the signal stops repeating because it's been heard. And that changes everything. One clear action in response to what your own system is showing you. It's all it takes to start beneficial change. And that's the point. You just need to notice the signal and then make a small adjustment and let that build momentum. Because the more often you respond to the small signals with purpose, the less anxiety you're going to feel. If you're feeling a lot of anxiety, you probably have lots of signals telling you how to get past it, how to work through it. When you pay attention and respond to those signals, the less often life has to send you the big signals. Let's be clear. If you ignore enough signals, it won't just cost you peace of mind. It could cost you clients, profit, progress. It can cost you the wrong client saying yes and the right one saying no. And it can cost your momentum when creativity stalls. This is how alignment is maintained by listening to the signals and responding while the cost of correction is still low. It's about staying in sync with what's ready. And if you're realizing you've ignored a few signals before, that's not failure. That's just proof. You've got data to look at and to consider now. You've seen what happens when the signal is ignored. So next time, you're ready. If this is helping, say it's helping in the comments. Let me know. Or click that like button or click that love button. I love that stuff. Chapter 4. The real value in all of this training is in your mind that you stay available to signals. And you're doing this on purpose. You don't need to stay in a constant state of evaluation mode. This isn't about walking around with a magnifying glass over your life. It's about building the kind of awareness that lets you stay in rhythm with your values, your purpose, and your ideal life. You've heard me say that, talk about that many times before. Too many of us are just, well, do the analogy. I'm going to share with you the analogy I often give on this one. Let's imagine that you have a car and well, just say you just got the keys. And let's say you're new to driving, but you know how. There's lots of roads, lots of roads. And before you determine where you're going to go, they're all good roads. Let's say you're in San Antonio, Texas. And let's say that you have defined that you want to go to Houston, Texas, maybe to visit a friend for lunch. It is because you defined where you were going that you gave yourself potential to get there. If you don't define the destination, then all the roads look good. But here's the bottom line. There's another highway. There's a lot of highways in San Antonio, but there's another one called 35, Interstate 35. It'll take you to Houston, to Dallas. Excuse me, to Austin and to Dallas. Again, if we define we were going to Houston, it's I-10 that we have to take. If we take I-35, we will never get to Houston. It doesn't matter how long we're on the road. It doesn't matter how good you're staying in the lines or staying under the speed limit. It doesn't matter how good a driver you are and how good you are at not at making sure that person who's going to cut you off doesn't. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in because you're on the wrong road. Too many of you feel that I've put in a whole lot of effort. I'm really trying. I'm giving it all my blood, sweat, and tears, and things still aren't working. There's your sign that you're on the wrong road. It's your signal. When you start trusting the signals, even the small signals, a few things shift. You recover faster from friction, from missteps, from overcommitting. Your decision making is cleaner. When you're sharing things with others, there's no over explaining, there's no dragging it out. You create better, not because you're forcing creativity, but because you're no longer fighting yourself. Oh, I know some of you are. Not all the time, but you are. When you notice these small signals, you run your business more clearly because your decisions aren't made from pressure. They're made from alignment. And the only way to know what alignment is to know what your destination is. Too many of you are jumping onto pretty roads and then wondering why you've run out of gas. You're not here to be a people pleaser. You're here to build a business that fits you, that leads you to your ideal life. Signals aren't random, they are patterns. And the better you get at spotting those patterns, especially early on, the more confident and strategic your decisions become. And yes, I have made this all sound simple, but in real life, it's often 5 signals hitting you at once. So, what then? Well, it is still feedback. It's still addressed the same way. Just start with the one that won't shut up, that keeps on popping up. Don't even bother trying to decode them all at the same time. You just need to simplify. Listen, respond, and stay available. Because signal fatigue is real. But if you respond, it isn't permanent. If you've been feeling pulled in every direction, that's not a reason to shut down. It's your signal to pause and get honest with yourself. Just respond to one signal. Start there. That's how the noise starts to clear. Signals are not in your way, they're showing you the way. Welcome them. This is a good thing. So stay open, stay honest with yourself, and stay available to the signals. Don't be bothered by them, because the sooner you respond, the less often life has to shout. You guys feeling this? Share something in the comments with me. Maybe an experience that you have had, some thoughts you have on this subject. If you haven't already, enter in hashtag live. Signals are the guardrails to clarity. So there's no need to seek out signals, but you need to notice when they tap you on the shoulder. These signals, however small, strange, or subtle, they aren't the interruptions. They aren't the interruptions that they feel like. They're invitations. Maybe just a pause. Could be to pivot, to realign, and to build something that actually fits your ideal life. The more often you listen and act on these signals, the less noise there is to sort through, the less anxiety there is to suffer through, and the more confidently you move forward because you responded before things had to break. So the next time something feels just a little off, pay attention. Even if it's just a tilted head, little side eye, even if it comes from the dog, because that might be your signal. Do you need help with any of these or any other part of business? Just reach out to me. My private coaching sessions can help you choose and implement the right tools for your business. And you get to start for free. So take advantage of it. I'll put that up on the screen so you know what my where to get to my schedule. That's calendly.com/photoschool/15 MIN. Now, I've got a couple of announcements. before I get to what's coming in future shows. By the way, you want to know what's coming up in the future shows. There are some really cool ones that are coming. One's an interview. I'll tell you about it here in just a moment. Well, before I do, I want to tell you about my career photographer program. And that is long. Well, let me put that up, but I think I have a shorter version. That that is the correct address, but I'm not going to be able to write all that down unless you do a screenshot, but nobody wants to do that. I thought I had the shorter version on. Hmm. Well, you could start simply by going to the address that I've given you before, the calendly.com/ photo school / 15 MIN. But let me tell you a little bit about the career photographer program. This is my signature coaching program, my flagship program for portrait photographers who want to build a highly profitable, low volume photography business. This program was originally written in 2018, but I'm in the process of rewriting it because, man, there's been serious changes in the last just 5 years, more than normal, way more than normal. So, for a limited time, I am giving a huge discount to this. So, I'm not going to tell you what the discount is because I want to incentivize you to go check out, see more information about this. But in fact, let me give you the QR code. That might be better. So, if you've got your cell phone, if you're watching on your cell phone, that won't work, or maybe it will. Anyway, there's the QR code to the information, and but I'm giving a huge discount, and once you see what that is, you're going to be surprised. It's temporary. It's only while I'm writing because I'm dedicating some of my attention to it and not 100% to you. Now you won't be able to feel the difference. You won't know because you hadn't done this before. It'll feel normal, but I know that it isn't. So yeah, you're getting a discount, a serious or ridiculous actually discount for that. And I'm also doing a summer photo walk series. I'll put that up on the screen so you can get more information about it. This is a curated collection of photography adventures that's designed to inspire photography enthusiasts. Now, this is exploring the San Antonio area. So if you're not in this area, you're going to either have to fly over here or drive over here. But it is all of them are in the San Antonio area. Each one of them is a 2 hour expedition, a photo walk. It's just $89 per person for that. I've got one that's coming up that has a that's a whole lot less. It's a special one, and you'll have to go to the website to see it. The dates and the times are listed along with the adventure description, and all of them are just between a few dates, is between July 7th and August 16th. So we only have a couple of weeks left of those. About I think about 8 options left, which is plenty. Now I want to tell you about the upcoming shows. You know that every single week on the we bring you the Portrait Profit Show, and each time it's a different lesson or an interview, or on the second Monday of each month we change the time from noon to 6:30 in the evening and bring on panelists. But every single week you get something here to help you out in your business. So, in 1 week from today, we're going to be talking about silent posts. And let me put that up on the screen. We are finished with July. Well, as far as the Portrait Profit Show, I guess there's a little bit of time left in July, but not much. 1 week from today, we're going to be talking about why your posts are ignored and what to do about it. So, if your posts are being ignored, it's not always the content that's the problem. In this episode of the Portrait Profit Show, we're talking about how to fix what I call silent posts. And that's the posts that get little to no engagement. Whether you're posting for maybe for a limited time offer, maybe a new studio space, some mini sessions that you're doing, maybe a personal project. This episode will make sure your posts actually reach your ideal clients. And then 1 week after that, and now this one is subject to change because there is someone who I really want to be a panelist on this show, but he's not able to make it this date. And so it's quite possible I'm moving this one because I really like to get his perspective on it. But as it stands right now, this is scheduled for August 11th. And this one's called How I Use Social Media. Photographers use social media for different reasons. In this conversation, working pros walk through approaches that align with their values, their clients, and the kind of business that they're building. You'll hear what they focus on, what's changed over time, and how they've shaped their social media into a tool that is supporting their work. And then 1 week after that, this one's going to be fun. The profit pivot system, a profit pivot plan. You don't have a skill problem. You've got a system alignment and messaging problem. Let me give you an analogy. You have a car, you've got fuel, you know how to drive, you've started the car, but you're sitting there, idling, because you're not sure where to go. So you sit there. You occasionally take a short trip, but you keep on coming right back to where you started, each time with less fuel in your creative energy tank. You're not lazy. What you are is lost in a loop of misalignment. By the way, if any of what I just said felt uncomfortably accurate, then you're going to need to watch this episode. I'll break this down and give you the map. And one more. This is an interview with Miracle Brown. Yep, that's her name. Isn't that a cool name? This one is on August 25th at noon. This is called Resilience, Vision, and the Journey of Miracle Brown. Portrait photographer Miracle Brown. Well, her journey is as raw and inspiring as the images she creates. From childhood snapshots on disposable cameras to a moment when one review nearly made her give it all up. Her story is a masterclass in resilience and vision. This Portrait Profits episode isn't just an interview. It's a conversation that will challenge and uplift anyone chasing their dream. If any of these free lessons sound interesting to you, which I'm hoping they all do, add it to your calendar. Do it now before you forget. It's every single Monday at noon, with one exception. The second Monday of each month, we have a panel at 6:30 in the evening, but it's every single Monday without fail. Put it on your calendar. I hope to see you there. Thanks for spending time with me today, Lens Legends. I hope today's conversation helped you recognize those odd little moments, the gut check, the hesitation, side eye from the dog. Those signals aren't in your way, they're showing you the way. Your ability to notice and respond to them, that is your edge. If you're feeling out of rhythm lately, don't wait for those signals to get loud. One small adjustment is all it takes to start shifting things into place. And if you're not sure what that first move is supposed to be, reach out to me. I'll help you find it. Until next time, stay open to the signals, stay steady in your purpose, and as always, keep creating portraits with intention and impact. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, I'm Jim Landers, your host on the Portrait Profits Show, where we spark passion and build thriving businesses. Until next week, Lens Legends, keep creating those powerful emotional connections that change lives, yours and your clients. I believe in you, and I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.